Yes, people, I'm back reviewing the stuff that I like to review. And if you want to stay tuned, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click on the notification bell now. Wandavision review episode 8. You know that saying, you could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. Well, if you don't want Wandavision spoilers, let me remind you, you could be anywhere else on the web, but you chose to be here. And for that analogy, I had to call the internet the web, which made me feel 78. But anyway, we press along. This episode was, in my opinion, a really good episode, like probably one of my favorites. But let's go through how I felt step by step to see how I came to this conclusion and what conclusions I draw from this episode, because a lot of the theories that can be spawned from this episode are just really exciting to me, which is what makes WandaVision great, because it lends itself to fan fiction, until the show facts just blow us out of the water. At the beginning of the episode, I was bewildered by Agatha's origin. I said in my last review that Agatha's origin needed to make sense for the texture of the universe that she belongs to, where magic has only been introduced through Doctor Strange. That's the only context for magic's its inner workings and how the magic community operates so far in the Marvel universe. Introducing new elements in a limited streaming series, in my opinion, would have made the show feel less authentic and true to the universe that it claims to belong to. That's why I didn't want that. I was annoyed, to be honest, because I was looking at all these witch chicks in their witch circle thinking to myself, who are you? And that's what annoys me about the Marvel universe introducing powered individuals from a time that's pre-Iron Man, because it's like, where have they been and what were they doing when the entire world was under threat in Avengers Infinity War or Avengers Endgame or all of them? What was she doing? Like, where was Agatha? She's just been sitting on her powers all this time. I hate stuff like that, because as soon as the Avengers got powers, it's been front page news. What was further annoying about Agatha, actually, talking as if Wanda was like her in the same way. I was like, no, she's not a witch. She's a chip off the old Infinity Stone block. But Marvel managed to find a way to make this all feel authentic and real by going through what I like to call the back door. If introducing a new element, which is Agatha's magic, is going to make the series feel like it's not authentic and not connected to the Marvel universe, then what do they have to do? All you gotta do is change the Marvel universe to match Agatha. It's genius. Wanda's origin story just got completely rewritten in a Disney Plus series. That is epic. That makes me feel as a fan like these series are just as important as the movies, because I've been wondering how Hydra used the Mind Stone to give Wanda her powers in the first place, and now I know they didn't. Wanda, through reasons we don't know yet, has been either possessed by an entity called the Scarlet Witch or chaos energy, giving the wielder of that energy the title of Scarlet Witch. This is huge. This is ginormous. This actually tells us why Wanda is in Doctor Strange's movie. This informs how we look at her going forward in terms of her powers, her influences, and where she can grow as a character. Because now we want to see her interact with the magic community and find out what it means to be the Scarlet Witch, because presumably there is an entire mythology that comes with that, and no doubt consequences too. Well done, Marvel. Not only did that give me a jaw drop moment, it also makes me okay with Agatha's origin as well. And there's so much to unpack here, because jaw drop number 2 is finding out Vision has never been to Westview, and that the Vision that is with Wanda is completely her creation, and that is terrifying, bro. Her level of power is terrifying. How real is this Vision? He left Westview, and even though he was coming apart, the people outside, they saw him. So how real is he? It's also a little sad, because I've enjoyed their romantic moments, but now they've turned into a painful allegory for grief upon reflection, because you could argue Wanda's never really had these moments with Vision. She's had them with herself, because how sentient, how real is this Vision? How autonomous are his actions? This all remains to be seen, but yeah, it's sad. In a way I like though, because I like that the show is making me feel things. Now, my theory is that this Vision in the Hex is the mind and psyche that Wanda will eventually put into the real Vision that Hayward is trying to control outside. At least that's what I hope. There are, of course, much sadder and tear-jerking possibilities, but to think Vision never left Hayward's offices, which leads me to question, why would he lie and say he has? Why is Hayward lying? And how have they been able to track the fake Vision then, if that's not the real Vision? I need answers to these questions desperately, and I'm gonna literally just have to pretend that I care about the other goings-ons of my life till next week when Wandavision is back on. Things are coming to a head and it's getting scarier and scarier. I'm telling you now, I was relieved to see the kids at the end of the episode, because the whole time while all this is going on, in the back of my mind, I'm just thinking, are they about to tell me that these kids aren't real? Or are they already gone? Are they pretty much the same setup as Vision? Bro, this show is scary, bro. How on earth is this going to end? I'll say one thing. I'm really feeling now like this show impacts the entire Marvel universe. Now, onto the emotional stakes of this episode. Using Agatha's desire to find out how Wanda does what she does as a way to let us peek into Wanda's life was very cleverly done by Marvel, especially as Agatha figured that pain is the center. Her reaction to Wanda's trauma was the perfect contrast, because Agatha from her own origin story just doesn't have those kinds of connections with other people, made clear by the fact that she killed her mom, which also makes sense because her mom was trying to kill her. So no love lost there. Her going through these moments was interesting to me because it leads me to think that if Agatha believes emotion is actually the center of Wanda's strength, is that something she can even access being this cold for this long? And it all kind of felt like a wild goose chase to me as well, because I was just sitting there thinking, Agatha, Wanda is not magic. She's an Infinity Stone adjacent person, but Agatha was right all along. Word to her song. Wanda is actually magic, and she could see that, but I couldn't because I was pigeonholed by believing I already knew her origin story. You get me? Speaking of her origin story, it was beautifully sad. Age of Ultron would have benefited from that first scene with her family. It would have added much needed gravity to her and Pietro's character. It was also a great way to explain the sitcom aspect and her watching of TV as escapism. For instance, the Vision scene in the Avengers facility was a masterpiece. Reason number one is that it shows why Wanda loves sitcoms. Vision asked if it's funny because the man is gravely injured, and Wanda replied, no, he can't be gravely injured because it's not that type of show. See me, I'm not a fan of horror movies. I love rom-coms, and I never thought about it the way Wanda said it. By choosing the genre of the program you're watching, you can actually kind of guarantee what you won't see, which explains perfectly why Wanda created the sitcom universe, because it's protected her from the horrors of real life. Now, the Vision in the Avengers Mansion scene was also beautiful because it lets us into one of their first moments building their relationship. Vision letting her know her grief is actually indicative of the fact that she's had happiness, and the sadness is a recognition of its existence and subsequently its loss. That was beautiful, bro. It showed why she loves him, and it added depth to his character. He's thinking about his own existence in not having anything to care for. In that moment when they were both just looking at each other, that was Vision literally transforming into someone who's no longer alone and now has someone to care about. To me, that's just beautiful. And now he's experiencing these very human emotions. The flashback scenes also were just so needed and so necessary to adding weight to truly feeling Wanda's grief and tying it all in a neat bow so no one is confused as to why she's a bit broken at the moment. She's dealt with a lot, and having that cocktail of horrors in one go really helps us to understand her actions and her lapses of judgment. Moving forward, I believe we are in new territory now. The Scarlet Witch and Wanda have never been separate in the comics, to my knowledge. They could either choose to introduce the Elder God Chiton or whatever, I don't know if I'm saying that right, who is the actual originator of chaos magic, or they could basically replace him with the idea of the Scarlet Witch as the originator, who's essentially possessed Wanda, or her power has just been passed down to Wanda. Also, Agnes mentioned the change of accent in Wanda, and I had said in earlier episodes when I first heard the accent change that there might be two Wandas, and now I'm thinking maybe the Scarlet Witch influences Wanda, and that's when the accent comes out, and that differentiates the two. Who knows? I'll tell you one thing I'm glad about though. I'm glad Agnes had nothing to do with Wanda creating the Hex world. I needed that to just be Wanda's own crazy, so it hasn't really been Agatha all along. It's a real shame though, man, that this show is coming to an end. But with that being said, it's not really an end, because I see the events of this show affecting the entire Marvel universe, and Marvel is looking to keep us well fed right through the year, because they've got Falcon and Winter Soldier coming up next, and after that it's going to be Loki coming straight after, and then it's a slew of movies and other series throughout the year. So that's been my review. Please like, comment and subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Peace.